Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston.
Hello there, it is Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston, and I am here again this morning, like every third Sunday for you of the month, with the great Ray Solano from PD Labs up in Cedar Park, Texas, close to Austin, for those of you who don't know where Cedar Park is. Welcome, Ray. It's nice to see you again.
Well, it's great to see you, too. Thanks for having me on.
This is my favorite Thursday of the month. So for people who don't know, I record on Thursday mornings, and then, we air on Sundays, and then all week on the podcast. For those of you who watch on YouTube already know, but for those of you who are listening on the radio for 9:30, The Answer here, I do have a podcast. So I'm on iTunes and Spotify and all of that. So you can go to drpbetterlife.com and find all that information and find out more about Ray and PD Labs. This is a compounding pharmacy up in, like I say, Cedar Park near the Austin area. And Ray and these guys up there do phenomenal work in the area of, therapies and preventions and things like that. And so Ray wanted to talk about something, entirely incredibly important today, and that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about breast cancer, but we're going to take a little different turn away from, like you said, Ray, away from just treatments and therapies and diagnosing it into trying to prevent it, right?
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay, right? Because we're going to get in big trouble here for trying to prevent something.
Yeah, we want to prevent something. No, we just want to treat.
Exactly. So I think you were going to bring up a link between sugar and breast cancer, big one.
Well, we all know and that cancer you don't just catch it like a virus like COVID-19.
Right.
It's something that starts a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important for people to identify that just out of the gate. This is something that starts metabolically, changes, cells actually morph to a different format over a period of time. And what causes this is what we need to understand. There's certain risk factors that are very paramount. And we do know that environmental disruptions or endocrine disruptions that we see from chemicals and pesticides and hormones and just toxic soup that we live in causes this shift to occur.
Right.
And also when we I guess couple that together with dietary changes of processed foods and what we eat on a daily basis ends up being jet fuel for these endocrine disruptors and changing the morphology of cells.
Right.
That cells that you have this war between good cells and bad cells, and cancer cells are with us all the time. Yeah. But something changes and the bad guys take over. And the good guys, unfortunately, are overwhelmed.
So it's true. And I think everybody thinks that it's just some, doomsday scenario where your genes just turn on and you get this. Right. And it's like, no. And it doesn't just happen, over, a couple months or something. If you are going to destined to get a cancer, it has probably already started, and you won't diagnose it for another 10 years even in some cases. But, this is a process, like you're saying, starts very, very early, and it starts at the level of the cell, and it's fed, like you say, jet fuel, with the things that we are eating on a daily basis. You think, well, I'll cheat today. Well, I've been eating good lately. Well, I've been doing this. And those decisions that you make are that jet fuel for developing that underlying cancer.
Well, and exactly one thing you can control is you can control what you eat or drink on a daily basis. You also can control what exposures you have to chemicals and pesticides. Yeah. But what you do on a daily basis is also so important. And this is October, okay? So we see a lot of pink ribbons.
Yes.
Breast cancer awareness, everybody's got a pink ribbon, but it's tied and funded to screenings and mammograms and treatments. But Dr. Pinkston, how about this? We start with you and your practice that links it to prevention. How about that?
Exactly. I love that. I think
Okay,
that's
so
the
Dr.
best idea
Pinkston,
all
we'll have
year.
it. We'll announce it today. Dr. Pinkston says the pink ribbons are for prevention.
Exactly. Pink for prevention. I think it's
P for
wonderful.
Pinkston, for the three P's. How's that? That'd be great. I can
Yes.
see the ribbon now. The three P's.
I just do it
So-
where I'm on it. We're printing today. It's it.
all right, there we go. But so and what is happening in October? It's
Halloween.
celebratory of Halloween.
Yes.
I call it, and I've coined it, the Super Bowl of sugar.
Yes.
It starts now.
it
The
does.
season starts in Halloween. It goes through Thanksgiving. It goes to Christmas, and then the holidays,
Yep.
and then
New Year's
Valentine's
even.
Day.
Valentine's
and,
Day. Yes.
and then we
Yes.
have this hyper ingestion of sugar within 3 months. So I don't think people really look at it that way. But guess what? They all gain 5 pounds or more
Right.
on top of the 10 pounds they had last year.
Exactly.
So, this maybe it gets some people's attention, but there's a direct link between sugar consumption and the proliferation and the growth of cancer cells. And I think that's what you and I have spoken about and seen through your medical training.
Absolutely, over and over. And it's just unquestionably denied in a large amount of the medical community, what I call the contemporary, medical community, which I come from. I was trained from, got a great education, love it. I incorporate, the contemporary medicine into my world every day. But something that I've learned since getting rheumatoid arthritis 15 years ago is that there's a better way to do things. And my body being sick is directly from all the choices that I made leading up to the development of it. Now the horse is out of the gate, and it's hard to control once it's there. Or reverse. Maybe control, but I can, but reverse next to impossible. Same thing when these cancer cells get going. But it's all, I think my world, I was 300 pounds at one point, and I think my world was based on, a large intake of sugar and calories and processed foods. And, I'm busy. I can stop by and pick up something on the way home, or at night when everybody goes to bed and I'm very stressed, I pick up my bowl of whatever and eat it in front of the TV. And people do this. You said at the very beginning, it's very important, you can control what you eat. Lesson I learned losing 162 pounds is, yes, I can control what I eat. It's been 4 years now, and I'm still controlling that. It's not going to change, ever. So the Super Bowl of sugar and everything in my life disappeared. I don't do it anymore. It's a choice, and that's a great point. Thank you for making that.
This is not new.
No.
We found out that in 1930s, the Germans figured that this was the biggest threat to the Third Reich.
Right.
And so
Cancer.
they realized that this huge increase in cancer and the link to sugar, and that was Otto Warburg. Heard of the Warburg effect?
Yes.
It was very simple.
Yeah.
Cancer cells grow and proliferate in uptake of glucose or sugar.
Yes.
So it just makes common sense. Why did they find that this? We've had our civilization has consumed more sugar this century in the early 1900s and late than ever in its history.
Exactly. Yes.
And so this is the effect. So there is a link between fructose, natural sugars, and sucrose, and then corn syrups and all the above. So I think you probably in your life, the way that you lost all your weight, you probably consume a lot less sugar than you used to.
By far, that's such an understatement. And not that I don't delve once in a while. I mean, I tease my staff. I've got 3 staff at the office, and me, so it makes 4. And I tease them that I have cake 4 times a year on their and my birthday, and that's my chance right there. But it really, really is limited down to that. So how do you do it, Dr. Pinkston? I don't know. I just made a choice, and I went through a large amount of cravings and difficulty, getting away from it, because it is like cocaine or heroin to the brain. It is that addicting. Nicotine or whatever or you have a propensity to overuse, sugar is in that category as well. So at some point I had to treat it like an addiction and get away from it and an eating disorder and whatnot. So I tell patients all the time, it's like, that cigarettes are bad for you, right? But if you choose to continue to do it, then you've got a problem and you're ready to admit that. Why don't we view food the same way? If we eat poorly and we know that that is bad for us and causing disease, but yet we continue to do it, why don't we focus on that as a disease and an illness?
That's right.
Way.
It's very, very, very simple.
Absolutely.
I think, and so we do the prevention, but also, all right. So if we've been unhealthy for years, what do you do to turn it around? And I think that's important. There's certain things you can do to reverse those effects, besides the avoidance and taking those things away. And there are certain supplements that you can take to reverse the effects of those bad estrogens.
Yes.
And there are
bad estrogens, not good estrogens, but bad estrogens.
Bad estrogens.
Yeah,
okay,
bad
so DIM is a supplement. It's a product called Indoplex that has a great formulation. That's the active ingredients in cruciferous vegetables and broccoli. My friend Jim Laval said, I don't see any broccoli shops opening up as fast foods everywhere.
I'm gonna stop by Starbucks and get my broccoli for the day.
Broccoli. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to take it in some pills so that we can take care of the metabolism of bad estrogens.
Right.
And that's actually starts in the young ages in puberty for girls. So it's really important to be healthy about that, the good estrogens.
Right.
And then also people that are prone, if they have the genetic mutations or they have family history, they have had years of bad diets. There are a couple of products that have been the only supplement that the FDA has allowed to be promoted for treatments for people with breast cancer is a product called it's a wheat germ product.
Yes.
It's a wheat germ extract. We've heard it from Abe. It's a Metaprol by American Biosciences.
Yeah.
It's a fermented wheat germ extract. They have to use the name fermented wheat germ, but it has no wheat in it.
Right, which people think if you say wheat germ, not to interrupt, but if you say wheat germ, people are going to go to HEB and buy a bottle of wheat germ. This is not the same thing. It's an extract, very important.
So American Biosciences has done tremendous amount of clinical research that they have shown the effects of these fermented wheat germ extracts in capsule form. It used to be in pill form, in very nasty liquid. So they come a long way.
I remember the day.
So this is something that if anybody has gotten a positive result or have a scare or a history, this is something you take on a daily basis, because what it does is it stops that absorption of those blood sugar. It changes, that blood sugar absorption of cancer cells.
Right.
So that changes that absorption levels. So it's really important for this is something you can take on a daily basis in actually treatments and also for prevention.
And you have this available, correct? I mean, this is something, these things that you are mentioning, you have available. So they can go to your site, pdlabsrx.com.
Yeah, go to our shopping page.
Absolutely.
And, you'll see it there. If not, just call us.
Right. Because you're always answering the phone.
Well, we like to talk to people. And we find out a lot of information of how people learn things about from your show. And we can, unfortunately, there's not a lot of choices in getting people healthy today. Right. So that's the reason why it's kind of a service just to answer the phone and say hello.
Right, isn't it? Nobody does that these days. We still do it at the office too. And if you are having trouble, finding that, you can also go through my site, so the drpbetterlife.com, and I have their link. They are one of my sponsors. And I appreciate you guys so much, and so I do have that link to find you as well. And so all this is available. And then I know if DIM and this, and so let me mention too the wheat germ extract that you mentioned. I had melanoma. Didn't have it once, but had had it twice, and that was also something that was mentioned to me to take. I think it was Dr. Laval as well, or Jim Laval, and then it was mentioned to me to take in prevention of further melanoma, which I have done off and on in the past. It can be a little expensive, but don't be misdirected by that. It's still very important. It can be one of the therapies that you can use off and on, and just very helpful in guiding your body to prevent the start, or at least help control if it's already started, and get prevention going. So it's many different cancers, but breast cancer is the highlight, and I know melanoma had some good studies behind it as well.
And I've never seen anything with so much backing.
Yeah, right.
And I really applaud to the people of American Biosciences. They've gotten tarred and feathered over the years.
They have.
And
They
they've
stuck in
decided
there.
to stick with it. Because natural medicine dealing with cancer, any type of cancer, has a tremendous amount of scrutiny on a worldwide basis.
Yep.
But if you have the data and show it and fund the clinical trials, and many of the big institutions are following this,
Absolutely.
This will satisfy the naysayers.
Yeah.
That show me the results.
Right. And anybody that hangs in there science-wise like this and goes through the tar and feathering and comes out on the other end is very important. So I'm glad that they did that. You know what? Our first 17 has disappeared. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about cancer prevention.
Hi, this is Ray Solano with your Healthy Choices Minute, sponsored by Prescription Dispensing Labs. New research has concluded that implementing dietary changes could prevent gut inflammatory processes involved in some chronic diseases. Modulation of your gut microbes through diets enriched with vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and a higher intake of plant over animal foods has a potential to prevent intestinal inflammatory conditions at the core of many chronic diseases. In short, the foods we eat in our dietary patterns have a major influence on our immune system that can cause many conditions we are suffering from today. Solution: try our OptiMeal shake. Our team has developed the best tasting, healthiest shake you've ever experienced to control blood sugar and to improve your gut. Start your day today with a healthy choice. Call us today at 888-909-0110 for a free sample of the OptiMeal shake. 888-909-0110. Remember, you have a choice in healthcare.
Welcome back. I am with Ray Solano today from PD Labs up in Cedar Park, Texas, a great compounding pharmacy full of all kinds of solutions, of which we've talked about today in the breast cancer prevention area. But what we did was talk a little bit about how sugar is underlying that development of breast cancer and other cancers. And it starts way, way back and early in our lives and just progresses as we eat very poorly. And we mentioned that eating sugar, it becomes an addiction. Your brain becomes intensely, addicted, and we seek it, and great dopamine response. We feel happy, and it serves a huge purpose. So, I know patients ask me all the time, day in, day out, how can I take care of it? They want a pill, they want a shot, they want something to prevent them from craving. What kind of advice do you have for people? Why does that happen? But what kind of advice do you have for what they can take?
Well, that's sometimes the biggest question we hear all the time. How do I stop the cravings? And then you look at the brain, the reason why the craving is there, because many times it's wrapped within stress.
Yeah.
And also it's wrapped in lower blood sugar levels, because people have this insulin resistance, and it's just feed me. And their cells are triggering these receptors that they need their serotonin increase by simple carbohydrates, and sugar is a great rush.
Makes you happy.
Especially when you bathe it with fats, and it's and then when you put all those together, it's no wonder why all these snacks that are so popular with chocolate and cream and everything, it is crack cocaine for the brain.
It is.
So it's how do you break that cycle? Well, the first thing that we do is got to control the blood sugar spikes.
Right.
And I like alpha lipoic acid to help reduce the blood sugar levels. and then also to help the body's insulin resistance, so that retuning those insulin receptors, so that they absorb the glucose and get it out of the bloodstream, and as opposed to just letting it circulate. Dr. Capazzo, which I think he's been a guest on your show before, and he's a colleague that has spent a lot of years treating weight management.
Very intelligent man.
He came up with a formula called the Mitoblast 2. Mitoblast 2 formula. It works on the mitochondria to upregulate its activity, because metabolism is a big part of insulin resistance, and also packed with nutraceuticals, quercetin and alpha lipoic acid, that maybe help stop those cravings. A little bit of a stimulatory effect in that formula. So you get a little bit of that support for energy. And you don't have to have the sugar.
Have you ever noticed when you're energized and feeling good and up and at 'em, you're not really wanting those types of foods? It's when you kind of get lethargic and sit and you're just like, munch, and that's when. So when you're up and going, your brain is active, you don't really want it. And that's a great point. I've never even made that connection. So
what's it called? Mitoblast 2.
Mitoblast 2.
And we want people to make it affordable for people. So Dr. Capazzo's group has a buy one, get one free offer for the month of October.
Great.
So
Can
instead
they get
of
that
getting
through you?
That's right. We through our website, instead of the candy corn and all of the. So how about buy one, get one free of Mitoblast? My staff's going to go, Ray, what did you just do? I said, well, we got to do something here.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad this is recording on Thursday so I can take advantage of it before this airs on Sunday and gets bought out. So I'm going to have a little bit. Right. So pdlabsrx.com, or go to my site, drpbetterlife.com, and you can find Ray and pdlabsrx.com on there. And so what about finding you? You know what, can you believe the second half of the show, 7 minutes, just is lickety split. So we're already getting to that point. But where can people find you and tell us more about you?
You can go to our website, pdlabsrx.com, and we also have a YouTube channel, PD Labs. We also have a radio show as well, Healthy Choices XM. So it's very easy to find. If you could also call us, if 512-219-0724. I almost gave out our fax number. 512-219-0724 is a great number for us to call and ask for me, ask for Ray. But we really, anybody that answers the phone, we're sincerely trained to be able to help people and answer questions. Our website's a great resource, pdlabsrx.com. We spent a lot of time working on it. We've got great links to it, so all this information is free.
Tons of information, so I love it, and I spend a lot of time on it. And so for people who want to find me, because I do a lot of work with patients on sugar cravings and weight and cancer prevention and all those things, so you can find me in Northwest San Antonio. I do see patients, and I have we take insurance. I see cash pay. It's not expensive to go the cash pay route. Do not let that deter you. Getting labs, getting screenings, we can do that. So I'm out at 10865 Shanefield Road in Suite 1101, kind of the back of a little yellow shopping center. A really simple place to find. 210-698-7825 is how you can reach us. You can also go to PinkstonFamilyPracticeSA.com and just find out more about the practice. But honestly, I've got a link as well if you go to the show site for drpbetterlife.com. Please look me up. You can find Ray and all of the links for his products. Get that buy one, get one free. And then you can find, all the links for me on podcasts. Ray, I am so honored always to have you on. Thank you for your time. This is a great show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for putting this show on. It's your work. There's not many special integrative physicians like yourself out there that are doing a television show. Right? This is great.
I love it. Thank you again so much. Everybody have a great week.
Take care.